Football sucks. Aha! This one's actually true. Only if you're a Man United fan. Hot takes. The bread and butter of football debates online and in real life. Also, seemingly the sole purpose of football Twitter. It has an ugly side. I think we can all agree on that much. If I have to bear witness to another Twitter user with Ronaldo as their profile picture slander Messi, or vice versa, I might lose it. Also, go ahead, follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Having said all of this, opinions on the beautiful game are a crucial reason for why the game is as popular as it is. I've said this multiple times. This entire affair is just one large soap opera. And like the millions of adoring, soapy-loving moms that can't wait to spill the tea on what they thought of last night's juicy episode, self-proclaimed, hardened football-loving men are exactly the same. In this video, I wanted to do something a bit different. I've perused through a few Twitter threads and Reddit comments to pick out a few quote-unquote hot takes and decipher whether they hold much weight or not. So, without further ado, how good are these opinions? Yo, what's going on everyone? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Tinashe. For whatever reason, a whole bunch of you guys have decided to hit the subscribe button recently. I don't know why, but thank you. I appreciate it. If you've been watching the channel for a bit, you've probably noticed I've been experimenting with different video formats and ways to tell these stories for some time now. This one is no different, so hope you enjoy it. But before that, this video is sponsored. Do you guys like fantasy football? Of course you do. Do you always lose your fantasy football league? Of course you do. Don't lie to me. I know the truth. I also know why you keep losing. Having to manage a team week in, week out, all year, oof. That's rough. But luckily, Spitch, the sponsor of today's video, has a pretty nifty solution to that problem. Spitch is a daily fantasy football manager that pits you against your mates, family, or even members of your very own football community. Each week, you can create a brand new team, new formations and all, from a vast array of top-tier competitions. The Premier League, the Bundesliga, the Champions League, even the Copa Libertadores. They're all there. The app uses a comprehensive statistical point system to track your performance, and winners with the most points can even win real money. If any of that sounds good to you, go ahead and use the link in the description to sign up to Spitch today. And if you're so inclined after that, you can use the one below that to join my community, the Iconic League. Thanks again to Spitch for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Right then, let's start this one off by diving into this thread by Twitter user StokeyG2. As you can see, there are thousands of replies, but I'm going to focus on just 3. First up, a light-hearted take to get the juices flowing. Raj Chauhan, hope I'm saying that right, says Steven Gerrard and Kevin De Bruyne stand alone as the best ever Premier League midfielders and that there is a significant gap between them and the rest. This is a pretty good example of a pub debate topic. Obviously very opinionated, with everyone having a different answer based on who they support and anecdotal evidence. So my take will probably follow along these lines. I do somewhat agree with this take. I've been vocal about this in the past on this channel and I'll say it again. Steven Gerrard is the most complete player that I've ever watched in the Premier League. He literally played successfully in every midfield position, as a wide player, an inside forward, even in defense early on. This is a good shout. Some may disagree with De Bruyne being in this comment as he is still active. It's that whole thing where people refuse to label someone as a great if they haven't retired yet, But even if he stopped playing today, his output has been so outrageous that I think it would be easy to argue in favor of his inclusion in the top 5 Premier League midfielders ever. This tweet is heavily opinionated, as I've already said, but it's not the worst out there. If I was forced to pick 2 midfielders for this debate, purely based on the fact that they could do absolutely everything, I'd probably put Patrick Vieira there next to Steven Gerrard. And as I say this, I'm sure the comments will scream Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard, David Silva, Roy Keane, Claude Makelele, Yaya Toure, and so on and so forth. To each their own. On to a more nuanced one. This user states, you'll never truly understand football if you don't support your local team. This is a tough one, because I agree to a certain extent, but at the same time, this is just a blatant case of gatekeeping that is unnecessarily dismissive of people that are dedicated supporters. I can only speak of my own experience, so I'll use myself as an example here. My family and my upbringing is pretty scattered all the way across the globe. I've visited all of them in the past and watched several teams play, but at the end of the day, I stay in South Africa and I support Manchester United. I've supported them more or less religiously for almost 20 years now. researching what the club's about, where it came from, what it stands for, and I've seen them play live a few times too. The whole shebang. To be told I don't understand football just because I'm not located geographically next to the club doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. But I will concede that the accusation is not unfounded. I never grew up in Manchester, so there is a lot about the area and historical culture that I will never fully understand or fully appreciate. That is very true and impossible to deny. So while this is a controversial take, I can see both sides. Side note, on an unrelated yet still related note, if you're not a fan of people that aren't locals supporting the team, it might be worth taking a look at the percentage of non-English players, the ownership and source of funds for Premier League teams. I actually made a video on this a couple of months ago, so, you can watch that if you want. Vardy has a better Premier League legacy than Drogba and Kane. This is an interesting statement. Harry Kane will finish his career as, at the very least, the second highest scorer in Premier League history. That much is almost certain. Dude is a phenom, but other than that, his list of major silverware is empty. Kane's former teammate, Jamie Vardy, has lived maybe the craziest story in Premier League history, going from non-league at 25 to Premier League champion at 29. And he is currently 14th on the all-time scorer list. If we're talking storylines and the full package, to do what he's done at Leicester of all teams, winning the league and all, I gotta give this one to Vardy. And then we have Drogba. The statement was Premier League only, so even though he's maybe the most clutch player ever, many of his game-saving goals have come in cup competitions. 10 goals in 10 finals, often the winning or equalizing goal. This is a tough one. We are talking legacy here, which often correlates with storyline. So are Drogba's 4 Premier League titles, with a significantly stronger and much more financially capable side, less valuable than Jamie Vardy's singular win with Leicester City? They are completely different players too. Obviously, it's not all about goals, but Drogba has, of course, scored the least amongst these 3. Apart from maybe 3 or 4 of his 9 seasons at Chelsea, his role was not that of a primary scorer, more often a reliable outlet and springboard for Lampard, Anelka and co. But make no mistake, he did score his fair share. On the other hand, Vardy has always been the main guy. Listen, in my eyes, this isn't a completely unfounded statement, and I can understand the sentiment, but I'm personally gonna have to go with Drogba on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. On to a new thread all the way back in 2019. Messi is the most underrated player of all time. Alright, that's enough for Twitter. Let's check in with Reddit. Well, this looks interesting. Lewandowski doesn't deserve the Ballon d'Or. He is not pacey enough and doesn't do skills in real life. Also hasn't won anything with Germany. So this was obviously posted prior to the 2021 Ballon d'Or announcement, which Messi ended up winning. While some people may disagree with this, I think this is a spot-on take. He literally has 0 international goals with Germany. Lewandowski also does not shush nearly enough when he scores. When he shoots, the icon above his head does not turn green, meaning his shots are not always perfect. And I have yet to see the replays of a Lewandowski goal skipped. Case closed. La Liga can be as entertaining as the EPL, but there just isn't enough marketing around it for global fans. So this might be the first one that I fully agree with, and it might sound odd to say that the league that housed probably the 2 best players in the world for about a decade not too long ago is undermarketed and underrated, but there is truth there. The Premier League marketing machine is like absolutely no other in global league football. Of course, spoken language helps with not only commentary but relatability with players. An estimated 1.5 billion people across the globe speak English, versus roughly 550 million when it comes to Spanish. Then there is the cultural proximity, favorable time zones for very many nations and continents, and just overall convenience. And amongst all of that, there is the minor aspect of money. The Premier League as a whole was estimated to make almost double that of La Liga in the 21-22 season, and these monetary figures undoubtedly have a direct correlation with viewership. Spending and flashy signings are therefore a major side effect of all of this. As we know, the players themselves don't always live up to their price tags, but it's the spectacle of it all that draws people in. Other leagues, more specifically La Liga in this conversation, simply cannot compete, which is rather tough. I've gotten more and more into La Liga over the past 2 or 3 years, more so than I did during the Messi and Ronaldo era. And I gotta say, the production quality of the broadcasts alone is probably the best in Europe. Some of the shots and angles these guys use are just unreal. And the quality of teams outside of the big three is really impressive too. Dare I say, higher than the quality of teams outside of the big six in the Premier League. Maybe. There is a conversation to be had there. Listen, this is probably a great standalone topic for a much longer, much more fleshed out, data-driven video, so I'm gonna stop rambling as I'm probably not doing this discussion much justice. But as far as takes go, I agree with this one. Alright, I think we've got time for just one more. This one caught my eye for obvious reasons. Unpopular football theory. Premier League referees are all on the autism spectrum. I'm not gonna read the rest out loud. You can do so if you want, but that's all you really need to get what this comment is about. So basically, my man didn't like a call that went against his team and resorted to calling every EPL referee autistic. That's mad. Listen, referees are not perfect, and they definitely make blunders here and there. But this is a crazy level of saltiness, I must admit. And on that note, that is where we're going to leave this one. Let me know what you guys think about this video and this kind of content. Social media is a cesspool of hot takes, and I haven't even come close to scratching the surface. Feel free to follow me on all the socials if you want. All the links are in the description. And that is all from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.